to Heather Ewing, the CRE Rundown. I have a terrific guest for you yet again today. It is Gita Faust, and she is the owner of Fast Trac Consulting. Gita, welcome.
Thank you, Heather. It's a pleasure coming here, being with you, having a brief chat uh, to share how one and all of us can attain what we need in our CRE business.
Mhm. And so let's dig into it a little bit, right? I've known you, I think, is it about 6 months or longer on LinkedIn? We've been connecting and I've been learning about the way you help business owners and really dig into the numbers and even much more beyond that with mindset and things. But for our audience that may not be as familiar with you, share a little bit more about yourself.
Oh, wow. Where do I start? So let's make it a little bit shorter because we don't have all day. um, I graduated from accounting. Since ninth grade. We had to choose a faculty, whether you want to take science, accounting, or history, BA, arts, right? So I selected
Mhm.
accounting, and that continued throughout my journey, even though I dabbled a little bit into programming, which I loved, but I didn't like the cold, the rooms had to be really cold back home in India.
Yeah.
So I used to get sick very often, so I quit that and I went back, jumped into accounting. And it has taken me from day one, from my ninth grade till today.
Wow.
A point came in where I had to make a decision of what I want to do because of an accident I had incurred. And it
Hmm.
left me disabled for a long time. And I decided I'm going to go with accounting and bookkeeping, started in 2001. And I was virtual at that point as well. So for me, it was nothing. Being virtual was not a new endeavor, a task that I had to take over. And
Right.
since then, I started my business in 2001 and 2005, I found my niche in real estate. And that is
Mhm.
because one of my clients pushed me into it. And, one thing has escalated to another. I have courses in QuickBooks courses, how to for real estate, almost all segmentations in the real estate industry. We offer accounting and bookkeeping services. You can find nuggets of advice on each of my LinkedIn posts out there. As you
Yes.
know, we connected on LinkedIn. Um, and here I am today, chatting
That's
with you.
fantastic. So what's interesting and what piqued my attention is that the accident. So I had a pivotal accident too. I'm interested. What happened and how did that shift your trajectory or your mindset?
Okay, so it's a story that it's worth telling because you can see different professions, how they all work out. I was pregnant, 7 months, and I got hit. We were stopped at a traffic light. I mean, sorry, we were stopped at a railroad track, and the person behind me was reading a newspaper, and he just accelerated and hit me from behind, and that gave me a big shock. Doctors couldn't do any testing, nothing with me because I was pregnant, of course,
Right.
that left me disabled for a long time. I could not carry any weight with my right hand. I
Oh,
could not
wow.
carry a cup of empty mug from the dining table to the kitchen. I was that bad. It
Oh,
took
wow.
me almost 5 years to recover where I could sit for half an hour to an hour at a time.
That's
Um,
unreal.
and the profession, that person at the back was a lawyer. So, of course, he won the
Hmm.
case.
Hmm.
Anyway,
Right.
but that after 5 years, my son was perfect. He was
Mhm.
great.
Mhm.
He has his master's in emergency management and is a captain
Oh,
at a
wow.
fire station right now, firehouse in Warrington. But he's doing great, perfect family. You'll see pictures of me posting of his prince and princess all the time.
Definitely.
Um, And that pivot, that time had come, I had to make a decision, which my parents always taught me is saying, whatever you do, you need to study and you need to learn to stand on your own feet.
Mm-hmm.
Even though my husband was here to support me 101%, he knew that was very important for me. So I
Right.
decided to start something that I knew well and was embedded in me since my childhood and share with other businesses how they can be profitable.
Mhm.
Just making sales is not profitable. Just looking at the revenue is not profitable. You have to look at the whole picture, what you have. So I started part-time, and one thing escalated to another. I first started as a bookkeeping business, and that bookkeeping business, I sent out 15 or 20 letters. I got a couple clients right away. In like a month, I was surprised. And I'm like, oh my God, this is good, right? And then, as you know, as in every profession, we all strive to learn and we yearn for knowledge. We yearn
Yes.
to how to be better. We yearn to how do we excel and give our clients or prospects more than what we know and they know, right? So restarted educating myself in all different aspects of the industry, real estate industry, as well as the accounting industry. So that's how I get started, and that's my story. And that pursuance that I had to do something that was instilled, in me.
Mhm.
And I love challenges. You give me a challenge, I'll take it.
Exactly. That's why your post this morning, I just loved it. And it's a different message. And I think that's also what I find refreshing because from the outside in, I'm always like, thank God for cost segregation, all these different ways of elevating a business through the planning, really understanding the source of the issue so it can be flushed out versus
That's
just
right.
bookkeeping. Like they are in great contrast. And a lot of people I think don't realize that. But there's the Gita twist of it, of the mindset, which is interesting because spending, we all have our habits, good, bad, and indifferent. And in you being able to have those tough conversations with people, that's what can truly turn a business around. And I think people have never thought of the level of power that you can help people take back within their own businesses.
True, true. And you need an analytic mind as well. Because in the real estate industry, as you can see, people are good at analyzing to a point where they are ready to make the decision to whether buy that purchase the property, you know, or let it
Mhm.
go. Right? We have
Mhm.
some wins, we have some losses, and they are good at that. But after that, it falls apart.
Right. And that's where you step in and shine.
Right. And
So how do you see, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, it's the same concept. Like my one of my posts was, deciding whether to go with Uber or Lyft, right? And
Right.
that penny, your analytic mind starts even with the smallest expense, which can escalate to millions and billions of dollars.
Mhm. Right. It's like following the breadcrumbs, and especially as you grow and scale, that's
Right.
where the simple Uber or Lyft really, really does add up. How do you see mindset factoring into, the next level of business?
Uh, so, for my honest,
Yes.
Um, let me be a little bit honest. Mentors and coaches are great in the real estate industry, but they don't emphasize after the fact, after you make the purchase of the property, after you close the property. And this is one thing I've had a couple conversation with coaches. I said, why don't you teach them that? It's saying because that's not our forte, right? So that mentor and coach may be there for a specific reason to change the mindset of the person who's being with them and working with them. So that mindset of the money, not only in the bank or showing the bottom line on your profit and loss, it's that
Mhm.
mindset that is very important. You have to learn it also. So you don't have to learn how to do the data entry or where to put the numbers in which bucket, right? That's the person
Right.
who can do it for you, where you can concentrate on building your business, growing your wealth and your assets, right? So what I want to reach as many as I can, mentors, coaches, real estate professions, that they need to also change their mindset on the accounting side as well. You know, you just don't want a person who just data entry. You know, you
Right.
want that person to go make that extra effort to give you what real estate investors, anybody in the arena, real estate arena, know what the numbers mean. That's what they need to learn, what your numbers mean after the fact, right? And
Right. And what's interesting is that what popped into my mind is I think of coaches, mentors, kind of like you learn different areas from each of them and you create your tool belt that you draw upon. I don't know, do you offer coaching? Because I could see it would be a perfect segue that they teach, right, the deal points or maybe the sales, the development, and then they hand them off to you.
yes, I do offer coaching and mentoring as well. And,
Perfect.
one would be great part for me to mentor with a coach and mentor with a coach or a mentor, okay, let's
Mhm.
put it right. I would,
Right.
it would be great if they can bundle up my coaching and mentoring into their program as well, because
Mhm.
they are, whomever they are coaching and mentoring would get that extra lift right away. They don't have to wait
Definitely.
and look for somebody else to do it,
Right.
you know?
And two, it's a habit, right? So even if it was brought up in the very beginning of when people first join commercial real estate and they're an
Mhm.
associate or they're learning that
Mhm.
even if it's a tiny, $10 a week or something of that nature to get into the habit. So then as the volume increases that it's already a smooth path for them.
Agreed, agreed. So I
Hmm.
agree. So I agree. Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, shifting gears a little bit, how do you see AI intervening and or assisting with this?
Right now, AI is good to a certain point. So let's take
Hmm.
for an example, if in your one accounting file, you have 10 properties, you can't tell AI to segment those expenses by property because AI does not know that. All right. And I'm also thinking, how do you teach AI whether it's an expense or it's a capital item? How can you
Mm-hmm.
tell AI to split your mortgage versus interest versus escrow? You know, so
Right.
AI is good to a certain point,
Hmm.
you know.
Hmm.
But if
I,
it's not going to give you a rent roll, but you need to feed in the information to AI to get you a report, right?
mhm.
So where do you get that data from? Okay.
Right.
And it's in the CRE industry, whether it's multifamily or it's a truly a commercial, industrial, or shopping strip or something, the leases are different. You need to
I,
do your CAM reconciliation. There's only so much you can do with AI so far, right? Now,
mhm.
on the other hand, if you have only one property in one accounting file, like a QuickBooks file I'm going to talk about, right?
Mhm.
Uh, then AI can do 90% of your work because it's only one property. You
That
know,
makes sense. It's more simplistic.
yeah, yeah. So,
Mhm.
it's you can use AI, feed in your profit and loss, and tell it to interpret it. Just give it to ChatGPT by month and let's see how it interprets. That it can do. It can tell you where your expenses were high, where was low, whether you received rent that month, you did not receive it, with a dollar difference. Unless you
Right.
feed them the tenant's name, then it'll spit out the information for you as well. So, in each industry, in our industry, AI is good to a certain point. Then you need that human touch. Maybe in future, if you see Star Wars and things like that.
Yes. Yes. There will come a day, right?
Right.
Definitely. Well, my last question for you, and this is always the big one, but what does living fully mean to you, Gita?
That is a loaded one, right?
It is, isn't it?
Okay,
That's
let's
why it's
begin.
always
I
last.
am glad. Um, living fully means, for me, I'm a very simple person, right? So for me, if I've learned to live where I had no money and where I have money today. Okay. Now, how
Right.
much I have, maybe trillions, who knows, right? But
Right.
it is being happy in the moment and not fretting about the little things. You know, it's like, okay,
Right.
you know what? That girl has a beautiful dress. It looks like $1 million, but I want one like that. No, you know, I'm going to stay in my
Mhm.
own limits and decide what
Mhm.
my priority is.
Right.
Either I want that high ticketed price bag or the dress,
Mhm.
or um, whether I want to live within what makes me happy. And that's what I have been doing. I'm happy with what I have and I live below my means. Even though I can afford that, not $1 million dress, definitely not. But I'm enjoying myself and making me as a priority. That's and my spouse, right? And then comes next line people like kids and grandkids and all, right? So
Right.
the simplest way you can live and be truthful to yourself,
Mm. I
you
think
know.
that is sage advice of being truthful to yourself and, like you said, of not comparing yourself to this one or that one and this item or that item.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, sage words, my dear. But I just want to thank you so much for joining us today, Gita. And how
Thank
can
you.
people connect with you? Because I know they're going to want to reach out to you to get their businesses really in their prime fitness. What's a good contact for you?
You can social media me. My name is
Mhm.
Gita Faust, and you can reach me at fasttracconsulting.com. Just remember the track doesn't have a K because most of the listeners are missing to track their numbers. And so is to get them thinking that, fast track is something, but fast track, tracking their numbers is crucial as well. And you can always reach me at 215-579-1465. And thank you, Heather. Appreciate you having me
It
share.
was a true joy, definitely.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Gita.